Welcome back to the Scrubdom, everybody. We're going to be continuing some Oxygen Not Included. Really quickly, though, I want to address an elephant in the room. I actually posted up to Discord, I want to say it was just before January. So when I was getting a couple of things taken care of, I noticed I had gotten myself into what I thought at the time was sandbox mode. Turns out it's debug mode. I wanted to be clear as soon as possible, so as soon as it happened, I posted up in the Discord, told everybody, hey, here's what happened. I'm going to try to get it fixed. I've got it fixed. The only real advantage it gave me was I know a little bit about the star map. Luckily, it's been long enough that I've forgotten most of it, except for one planetoid in particular. But we'll get to there when I actually drop the actual telescope, because since I was able to reset everything, I don't have any of the star map actually unlocked anymore. Once I drop the telescope, I'll go into details on the one that I remember, because I know how excited I was to see it, because it has something I've always wanted to tame but never tamed. Going into just a couple of things real quick. So for starters, our geyser stopped erupting. I changed the setup a bit. I decided to stick some buffer tanks in instead of having the tank. I got them connected up, and I ran some actual aluminum radiant pipes through here. And the reason specifically for aluminum is aluminum has a fantastic, like, super good thermal conductivity. Like, this is one of the best thermal conductivities that I know of. And the big reason for that is, look at this heat. We're looking at upwards to, we're getting like 65 down here, 66 up here was probably getting about the same. And that's bad because our hydrogen generators, if you actually check your status, have an overheat temperature of 75 degrees made out of iron ore. So these would have started breaking down if I didn't do something. So I just cracked back in, ran some aluminum pipes through for some cooling. But you'll notice that we are out of water, and that's because this has been dormant now for a little bit. Now it's about to become active, and it's going to become active again in 0.4 cycles. So we're good on that aspect for now. We're going to give it a bit of time. Luckily, we do have a bit of oxygen backed up, so we just have to wait for all of that to go through. We also finally let Boom Para Para out of the duplicate gym. He actually had some pretty good stats, and we got a new Atmosuit dock installed, and it does have a suit. It's just, you know, with all the suits being used up, they're going to go front and back. Also, with February, we've had a bit of change to how critter ranching works. So for starters, we actually have a new critter drop-off. The old critter drop-off won't work. You'll notice it has the building depreciated. It's from an older version of the game, and its use is not intended anymore. They've just given us a new critter drop-off as well as a new critter pickup, which I'm assuming they're going to use to kind of fix the ways of moving creatures you're not normally supposed to be able to move. I'm honestly okay with it. Do note, though, you cannot just copy your settings from the old drop-off to the new drop-off. It does not work. I've tried many different ways. It just doesn't work. But the new critter drop-off works the same as the old one. You can set the maximum number of critters, which I just realized these need to be set to 7. Something else they've also added in is use now the move to command on critters. You can actually move critters around rather than just having to wrangle them. It is a skill operation required and does require critter ranching 1 to be able to do so. So critter ranching 1 now applies to using the grooming station and moving any of your creatures. But you can program these just like the old ones, so there's really nothing new that I'm aware of. Does it have an automation slot? It does have an automation slot. I wonder if that means you could set that up to a critter sensor. I'm gonna have to do some playing with that. The other thing that has also changed is reproduction is now affected based on their happiness level. So I don't think their happiness goes above 4. I watched an entire tutorial on this a while ago, so I'm not 100%, and I'm still not 100% certain on this, so don't hold me 100% to this. But it can go down to like -10 and can go all the way up to a +4. At +4, their reproduction rate is going to be at the highest it can be, which is with the happy mood with a 15%, +2% with the base reproduction, giving it 17% per cycle. If it gets down to the -10, then your creatures just will not reproduce. Oh, it actually goes lower. This thing has a total happiness of -11, so it's reproducing at 0 per cycle. Now, I probably could try to fix up a couple of things to make that a bit better, but I'm not really too worried about the poke shells because they're just there to give me molts. But yeah, there's a little bit of critter ranching to play with now that I kind of really want to play with. Oh, did I ever actually deliver that suit? Did I make it and never deliver it? I made it and never delivered it. I'm smart. On our petroleum side, we're actually doing pretty well. We've got a fairly good tank already running here. I did actually already start using some of the petroleum. I plugged it into some petroleum generators. We'll get to the power break here in a moment. I'm really happy that this is working. I'm so happy this is working. It's still balanced out. It's hitting about 380 before hitting the insulated pipe made of obsidian, so it doesn't transfer thermals too well. You'll notice it splashes down. If I actually go over to my materials, it splashes and immediately flashes into petroleum. Like, yeah, it still comes in a little bit lower than everything around it, so it does change the thermals. But I'm just so happy. And then, yeah, I got some petroleum generators plugged in here. These things are beasts when it comes to the power scaling. Well, actually, to a couple of scalings, really. They put out a 2,000 watts of power. Literally, right now, the entire base is just being ran on these 5 petroleum generators. But here's probably one of the better parts of the entire thing. So we're currently using about 3,000 grams per second of water to create oil. That oil is being turned into petroleum, and currently that petroleum is only being burned in our petroleum generators. Well, these generators output 750 grams per second of polluted water. We're getting over 3,000 grams of water back. This entire system right now is water positive. In fact, I believe the final number for this, 3,750 grams of water per second. Now mind you, that per second is if they're running constantly, and it's not running constantly. But we are making more water than we are consuming, which means this colony is now fully water positive. So the duplicates have quite a bit of work to do, and we still need to wait for this to finish becoming a vacuum, which we're not too far off, so we're gonna let them work. Well, that took a little bit more time than anticipated. We're currently getting the water out of here, and I believe now that's below 200. I think I can mop it now. No, it has to be below 100. So we're still waiting on that to finish up. I've cleaned up pretty much everything in here. We've got this entire system set up here. While we wait, though, I'm going to go ahead and bulldoze this down. I'm going to let them start bulldozing over here. We're going to get a bunch of ladders in place. So we're going to start on this side over here real quick. So one thing to keep in mind, since we're going to be having a lot of lava down at the bottom, we're going to want something really good, really effective at drawing out those thermals. So we're going to so we're still going to use temperature shift plates, but we're going to use diamond temperature shift plates. Now, ideally, filling the entire area with diamond temp shift plates would be great, but I only have 18 tons, and that's not going to be enough to fill this entire area. Now, luckily with the abyssalite is you can still get right up next to it if you choose to. I think I'm still going to have a little bit of space in between. So I'm going to make this top bit here out of igneous rock just because it still has that high thermals. But then to just kind of show kind of what I mean with the diamond. Say about, actually, since we have this volcano here, about here is where we're going to switch over to some diamond temperature shift plates. I'm not going to have it come straight into contact with volcano. I'm going to have a small gap, and I'm hoping the lava only fills this bottom row here. Whether or not it does, I mean, I'm not 100% certain. But you'll notice, ooh, wait, is that still, okay, no, yeah, that is still bad. Oh, yeah, switch over to granite. Okay, but yeah, so you'll notice we actually started switching materials because of how much it takes up. Yeah, we're already pretty much out of diamond. So let me rethink this real quick. What if we just did... So I did these bottom two rows here of igneous rock, and you'll notice we went from 16 tons of diamond, sorry, about 18 tons of diamond, down to 6 tons in diamond. In fact, if we actually go look at the total numbers, it's actually 5,956. Like, that's not a lot of diamond remaining, but that diamond is really going to help bring in a whole bunch of temperatures. And you'll notice that it has a high melting point of 3,900, so almost 4,000 degrees, and that thermal conductivity of 80, where the igneous rock is only 668, but it has a thermal conductivity of 3.3. So the diamond is definitely preferred, and if I can get the diamond press up and running, it would be better, but I need to do space research before I can do that. And now to sit here for 20-ish minutes doing this until I get to the other side where I can hopefully repeat the diamonds. Well, I mean, I've almost got this in place now. Unfortunately, with the lack of diamond, because only these corner pieces here and these two are made of diamond, I don't think I'm going to be able to crack this open. I think if I did, it's just going to lead to too many problems. And, well, as you can see, they've got a lot of work to do because each one of these is 800 grams. And unfortunately, it's also taking a huge hit to my igneous rock stockpile. Like, I want to say I had almost 1 million, and now I'm down below 700. And it can be rough because, remember, igneous rock is also what we're feeding stone hatches, just because we have so much of it. So this is another reason why I want to try to get these tamed. So volcanoes, when the magma chills, actually produces igneous rock, and that igneous rock is going to be very vital to actually getting, well, to really maintain our stone hatches. Eventually, we do want to be off of hatches. In fact, by now, I probably should have switched over to slicksters, just because they are more efficient, just with how quickly you can get a ton of them. But this is doing us fine for now. This is going to take the dupes a while, so I'm going to kick back, let them work, do their thing, probably come back in like 50 cycles and they might be done. As soon as this one's actually finished, we'll be ready to get started. That took a while. I hope you guys enjoyed the little time lapse I do with that. I'm planning to cut quite a bit of stuff. Well, hello there. Hi. Sorry, I'm pet sitting right now as well. Got a little kitten that just tried to climb up the side of my chair. Anyway, but so it's all in place. It actually took them a while to get the diamond temperature shift plates. I actually had to go in and set those to a priority of 9. The last thing I really need to do is I just need to deconstruct these. And honestly, probably open up the lava. I'm going to throw in some mesh tiles here as well so we can actually set up some bottle emptiers. Just so we can be ready to get some water actually thrown in. Just because the heat will still get high, I'm still going to use igneous rock. And honestly, whatever is in here after I start throwing water in is probably staying in here for a while. Because I need to first fill the entire room with steam, even out the temperatures, and even out the steam. Again, I'm looking at about 50 grams per area. Honestly, I shouldn't even have these thermal aqua tuners in here right now either, because it's just going to superheat them while I wait for it to even out some. Oh, and there goes the last bit of the igneous rocks. This entire room is vacuumed out, cleaned out. We have the plates in order. So now, let's crack this open. I'll have to keep a pretty close eye on the duplicates because they will try to bring stuff out of here. In fact, I think what I'm going to do as well is I'm actually going to stick a door right here. I'm actually going to seal that door off to anyone who isn't bringing water at the time. I believe that's Boom Parapara coming to... Yep, Boom Parapara coming to crack us in. So you'll notice, even with the volcano, with the lava allowed to free flow, there's... Oh, well, hello there. Hi. Sorry, the kitten decided to kind of step on the keyboard for a moment and then walk across my lap. She's cute. But you'll notice, even with the lava flowing, we don't really have a lot of heat transfer except into this temperature shift plate right here, which is already shot up to 1400 degrees, which is causing all this to flash to igneous rock, really. But it is slowly pushing down, which is indeed what we want. Now that that's actually locked up, I want no one to be allowed in. Not until this is actually emptied out. Ah, dang it, we lost that one there. The heat transfer is actually moving through. Okay, I see where I made a mistake now. I should have put some water down first to help with getting steam into here. That's my bad. That's me learning. Again, this is the first actual industrial district I've made. So we're going to turn these on to 9, auto bottle, copy settings. Now, who is actually going to get the errand to do so? Mossbert. Just Mossbert. Okay. So, Mossbert is allowed in and out. No one else. And you know what? I know Aladdin does a lot of transporting. We'll allow Aladdin in and out. Does Mossbert still bring in the water? Yes. Nice to make sure that Mossbert doesn't grab any of this super hot igneous rock. Okay, good. He's leaving. Ah, see, we're already starting to get some rain in here, which means we are getting some steam. So really quickly, I'm going to lock everyone out again real quick. We're going to go ahead and disable the waters because I don't want to see it. But when we actually go check the overlays, we are already getting just a little bit of steam. So we're going to see how much that fills up. And we're already seeing that the temp shift plate from the diamond is exchanging heat with the steam real good, which is then causing any of the other temp shift plates it's coming into contact with to actually exchange heat. Now, we will need to put those back in place in time as soon as we let someone through. Now, we are also seeing some of the water make its way over to here slowly. Let's see. They're able to carry 2, so that's 2, 4, 6. That was 800 grams. That was 800 grams of water. Let's see how good 800 grams of water do. How long until this volcano becomes active again? It's dormant right now. It doesn't become active. Next activity is in 4.1 cycles. Okay, we're going to wait out the activity of this minor volcano. We're going to let Mossbert back in real quick because we're going to do a couple of changes in here now. So we're going to open up the volcano a little bit just so it has a little bit more room to breathe. Plus the steam's going to need to fill that space up anyway. We're going to repair these igneous tiles. We're going to get one more down here. I would also prefer to have this one made out of diamond, but beggars can't be choosers right now. We're also going to move all of this. This is all pretty hot as well. We're going to move it. Actually, I don't like that move. I want you there. You there. That's also some pretty hot igneous rock. That can go there. And the reason we're moving these down right now is because they are all very hot materials. So by having them down where the water is going to pool down in this area, it can help superheat the water, causing it to flash to steam. See, even just moving that one piece, because there was so little water there, it already flashed what was there into steam. Now, yeah, it's going to be still raining around. We're still seeing the steam having a hard time actually maintaining a presence. Can probably change that once we add in just a little bit more water. Thinking maybe another 400? Does anybody have this assignment right now? Mossbert is the only one who has... Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with Mossbert doing the work. It's much easier to keep an eye on one duplicate than it is to keep an eye on an entire herd of duplicates. I mean, that extra 400 did push the steam out just a little bit more. It's still having some trouble, though. So we're gonna get another... I'm actually gonna go with another 800. We're gonna go with a full 800 on this one. And if I have to, I'll uncork this one, which this one is currently just idle. Oh, is it worth uncorking it? I could drop a little bit. I mean, water is slowly making its way over. Once some water makes its way over, I'll uncork it, see about analyzing it, and we'll go from there. Well, it's making its way down now. Mostly because we keep bringing in some pretty cold water, so it keeps bringing the temperatures down. So we're gonna... I'm not very confident about it yet. We'll see what happens. We'll see. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll be fine. There's no way this is gonna blow up in my face. It's gonna blow up in my face, isn't it? It's totally gonna blow up in my face. Alright, Party Popper's beginning the research. Once Mossbert is out of here, we are going to lock the door to him. Once Party Popper is done, we're going to wait for the volcano to erupt and see how much that is, because the steam actually is spreading quite a bit now, but we need to make sure that we have the proper amount. So right now we're in the grams. But it's also still spreading, so we're gonna wait for it to spread and see how much is there and see how hot it gets. If it kicks on the steam turbines, then we know it's actually hit the proper temperature. At least that's the way I'm going to look at it. I don't know if that is actually how it works. Don't hold me to that. Oh, one of the steam turbines is trying to kick on. The steam has covered the area, and it is hitting above the area. It's just, it's in the micrograms. So that's what's actually causing it to have the trouble to kick in. Oh, come on. Finish analyzing this so I know how long we have. Erupts in 7.6 cycles. All right, let's get these. Ooh, 13 data banks. I want those swept up now. Let's add just a touch more water. And instead of Party Popper, we're going to let Aladdin through. Actually, that did a fairly good job helping spread the steam around some more. Now, mind you, we are sitting like kind of all over the place in what is where. I'm honestly, I'm just gonna have to let it run for a bit. It's probably just gonna have to run for like another 30 minutes and just even out, slowly add in more water just to see. Honestly, it's doing a pretty good job of mostly remaining as steam. All the water that was on the left side is actually gone now. When we check the steam overlay, it's making its way over to the right. Could I start setting up the metal refinery in here? I mean, first things first, the first thing I'll actually want to get set up is the cooling loop for the steam turbines, and it looks like they need just a little bit more heat anyway. So I'm gonna bring in the petroleum. Both of our volcanoes are actually pretty close to erupting too. This one erupts in 4.5, this one erupts in 5.5. So I'll practically back to back. I'm also getting 2 more steam turbines installed. And these are also coming out much cleaner than the last ones. Ooh, actually we're getting a little bit of power right here. We're actually able to see the liquid vent starting to output some. Now, that does mean that it is going to consume some of the steam and put it back in as water, which hopefully the steam's able to maintain a high enough temperature point of, I mean, if it maintains 130, that's perfect, but if it can maintain that point, it'll flash the little bit of water that it actually puts back into the whole system and keep the steam bath running. And that's the equilibrium that we're after. This volcano is getting ready to erupt in about 0.4 cycles at this point. So soon we should see the rest of this water flash up. Hopefully everything works out. When it comes to the steam's actually made and held a pretty fair distance. In fact, over here we're seeing even more of the steam turbines actually kick on. If I have to add more steam, I will. I actually want to be surprised if I need to go up to kilos rather than just grams, even though that's still already a lot of steam in there. We'll see. Here we go. We get to see if this idea worked. Alright, we are seeing the diamond temperature shift plates go up. It's increasing the amount of steam in the area. It is causing more rain. But we are seeing that heat come out more and more. Am I gonna need a little bit more water in here? I might need a little bit more water in here. I'm gonna give it a moment and wait to see what happens to all the steam, because it is also still heating up a lot of the temp shift plates. Like the ones down here are already hitting to a really high degree, but the ones up towards the top aren't really moving at all. And this is going to be idle now for at least another 13 cycles, almost 14 cycles. But this one's going to come up in actually 0.8 cycles. So really quickly, I'm going to disallow anyone from coming through. I'm going to see if this one actually causes these to melt again. All right, here comes the magma, and let's see how well this actually does. I don't think it'll delete the igneous rock anymore. Yeah, I think between the steam and the water actually dripping on it from the liquid vent, I don't think it can get hot enough now. It's still getting pretty hot right in there. We definitely need just a little bit more water, but I think this is working. I just need to make sure that the duplicants can't get down to the igneous rock now. I also need to set up the shipping systems. That shouldn't be too hard. I have plenty of steel right now, so I can set up auto sweepers, and I need to make sure to hit into that corner there. And then just in case it goes too far down, I want another one there. Oop, those are made out of iron. Those should not be made out of iron. Well, I'm getting a little bit more stuff set up. I've actually set up a conveyor. I'm setting up a conveyor belt system that's actually going to pick up all of the super hot igneous rock and weave it back through everything. I'm gonna have to set up a couple more of these systems. The bottom line there down by the ladders and the abyssalite, that's a very important line that's going to come into play later. So I'm going to set up something very similar to the sort of like the bathroom system, where we're gonna have a weird like bridge system. What we're going to do, and this is also a good chance for me to showcase a new mod I'm using called the Priority Zero mod, so they can work on that while I work over here. So it's going to be a system kind of like similar to the bathroom system, but it's all going to use the conveyor shut-off system. Actually, yeah, more similar to how we have the water sieve set up. Imagine the conveyor shut-off is like a little water sieve. What's going to happen is we're going to have a giant cooling loop in this area here, just to make sure that after they come out of this area, they're going to get cooled. But before they get sent that way, we want to make sure that they get down to, say, like under 130 degrees. Looks like it's sticking about 127 in the area. 140. I'd say stick it to about under 150. Might have to play with it just a little bit just to make sure it hits a good area. But as the items come in, we'll have a thermosensor here, which I haven't researched yet because I had to shoot someone up into space for that. It's going to detect if it needs to actually be sent out. If it does need to be sent out, I also realize I have that set up wrong. If it does need to be sent back out, if it does need to get sent back out into the cooling, it'll go out the green. If it doesn't, if it senses that it's above, let's say 200 for now, it'll get sent back through the sauna to inject even more heat into the sauna. Actually, wait, I'm stupid. This is the exact same system that we have right here with our germs. Imagine the germ sensor here as a thermosensor, and it's the same idea. As long as it detects that it's below one germ, or in this case, as long as it's below, say, 200 degrees, it'll be allowed to go through the shutoff and go back out into the world. If it's above one germ or full, it goes back through the system anyway. Man, that was so much easier. I should just come up here to explain that. Sometimes I forget that I'm dumb. But that is the eventual plan with what will be here. For now, we're gonna send everything out into the cooling loop until I can shoot someone up into space, which I also still make the cooling loop. I'll probably make the cooling loop and shooting someone into space next episode, which means we're gonna have a lot of this igneous rock just sitting down here for a while. I mean, that right there is already a lot. There's one more thing I want to set up. The last thing I'm going to get set up is a metal refinery. So we are going to need this running if we actually want to start producing steel in the background. Because honestly, if I can even just get this up and running, I'm just going to let it run in the background for a couple hundred cycles. Maybe not even a couple hundred. Maybe till cycle 900, just so there's plenty of steel in the system. So what we're doing with this liquid reservoir is just a wee bit different than what we were doing with the old metal refinery. What we're doing here is we're going to be pretty much using the exact same coolant, but what I've done or planning to do is it's going to wrap around and loop through the steam multiple times to exchange its heat back out with the steam around it before going into a liquid reservoir. It takes like 800 coolant to actually be able to fill up the metal refinery, so we're gonna get maybe 2 or 3 goes at a time. I'm not gonna fill it up, maybe only into yellow, which I think is about half. I can hold 5 tons, so 2,500 should be more than enough. But with all of this now in place, we are just going to go ahead and just get rid of our old little refining system. Honestly, this gave us a lot of stuff. We do need to get one of these rock crushers down in here eventually. I'm thinking right here, just since this is where all the lime is going to be crushed up, it'll be able to pull the lime and stick it straight into the metal refinery or straight into the storage bin. I do want one more metal refinery responsible for just crushing iron, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So it didn't blow up my face. I've also got a lot of stuff to go through. I'm gonna have to slim down a lot of things. There's gonna be a lot of things that just don't get covered in this because this took forever. I think I started this cycle at like cycle 710. It's cycle 777 now. And I still have to spread a lot more equipment through here. Right now we just have the one metal refinery. We do have some water condensing back down here. I have a solution for this as well. It's not an elegant solution, but it is a solution. But for now, the system appears to be working. Again, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it in the background, probably do a bit of more refining on it, but it's already produced us 500 steel in a short amount of time, and it's just gonna keep getting us more. And the more it gets us, the more we can put in here. And I've got a lot to go over if I want to get this episode out, and I really, really want to try to get this episode out as soon as possible. And again, I know it's been a while since I've actually posted anything. It's been weird. Things should be stabilizing and cooling down here shortly. Or actually, I guess at this point, they really have stabilized and cooled down, haven't they? Huh. Anyway, until next time, don't scrub out.